Okay, we are live for the Power Chat series. Today we have one of the winners from the Compete International Martial Arts Championships, otherwise known as just Compete Internationals in Ontario, California. Our guest today is Katie McMillan. Katie, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. This is your first time on the Power Chat series, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, it's for a big one because it was your adult debut, I believe, and you took home the grands. That's a huge accomplishment. Tell me what division exactly this was for and how the entire tournament went from beginning to end for you.
So I was able to win the overall with my musical weapons form. And some people get a little bit confused because I do my traditional weapons form to music. So I was able to win with that. And I was just so excited to be up there for a weapons division because I was able to get on stage for AKA for my Kempo forms. So it was really nice to get up there with my bow staff and able to do my form for that. And I was actually also up on the stage for my extreme forms. So that was really exciting. And I wasn't able to take that overall home, but I'm so grateful for my first adult overall. And it was just a really great tournament overall.
That's awesome. Who did you compete against for the stage, both extreme forms and weapons?
For weapons, I was against Sarah Campbell, Kylie Boyer, and Melina from Revolution. And I love those ladies. They're all great, very welcoming for the adult division. And I was so honored to be next to them. And then for Extreme Forms, I was able to compete against Gabrielle Dunn and Julia. I'm not sure of her last name. I'm pretty sure she's from California. And I was also able to compete against Lily. Um, and I think there was one more.
It's funny
Um, I'm not sure of her name. I think her name was Caitlin, actually. We had the
how,
same
okay,
name.
all right.
She was up there for Kempo, so it was
Nice.
nice.
Now, were you at all nervous being up there for weapons? I know you mentioned it's traditional with music, so there's less of a worry of dropping necessarily than maybe an extreme or creative or musical, but obviously it's another beast than form. So, what were some of the emotions on stage for you?
I was definitely very nervous. Since I won musical, I had to use music because normally when I was in the juniors and I made the stage for weapons, I would just not use the music. Just let everyone hear like the bow staff against my gi, but I had to use music, and so I was basically choreographing my music like in the hotel room right after I won. So it was really hard to choreograph that to my form, but I was able to do it, and I was really happy of how it came out that night. But it's also so much more nerve wracking with a bow in your hand because my hands get sweaty, and it's just like so nerve wracking to keep it in my hands.
And then when you saw the scores that ultimately led you to win, how did you feel?
I didn't even I didn't even think I won. Like, I think you can see on the live stream, I was like, "Me?" Like, I didn't even know because, you could hear Jackson Rudolph and, Joey Perry talking about, like, wow, like, that was crazy because I actually won with, I believe, 3 sevens and 4 nines, so it was, like, crazy, and I couldn't really see the screen, so I was like, I didn't think it was me, and then they announced my name, and I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know I won."
That is an interesting spread of 3 sevens and 4 nines. It just shows how sometimes your style just isn't what the judges are looking for, right?
Mhm.
Now, you competed all do you also fight, or am I imagining?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sometimes in local tournaments, but I've only fought, like, once in NASCA.
Okay. How has the transition from juniors to adults been going? And where do you kind of hope to see your growth most in this division?
I really hope to see the growth overall because I've been doing pretty well in certain divisions, but in the other divisions, I haven't really been doing too well. Like, I'm gonna be honest, this weekend, I actually took a last place as well, and so many people just see like, oh, she won the overall, she must have done great overall, but I didn't. I took a last place, so I definitely want to work on just my overall standings in all my divisions and just being able to do well in my CMX, traditional, informs and weapons.
That's great. I appreciate you being honest because I think oftentimes, sometimes people will just highlight the best of the best, which that's perfectly fine too. But it's refreshing to hear sometimes, not everybody's perfect. You can be really good at one thing, but still want to improve the other. In terms of training, how do you kind of foresee yourself changing training in any way at all, or has it already changed?
It's definitely changed drastically since like November and December of this year, well, last year. I just had some situations going on with my dojo and coaching, so I was able to kind of find new coaches, and I was also able to find a new team. So I'm very blessed for that opportunity, and it's definitely been a hard change, but I think it was a change for the better, and I'm really trying to see the growth in my change. And it's definitely been a little bit harder to train both staff because of my dojo change, and I'm not able to practice in my house. So it's definitely been a little nerve-wracking not getting as much practice time in, but I'm definitely trying to maximize my training time.
Okay. Were you previous? What team were you previously on, and where are you on now?
I was previously on Next Level from New York,
Hmm.
and I got very many opportunities from that team. And I still love everyone on that team. And I thank Coach Jesse Ray for everything that he's done for me. And I'm now on Team Excel out of Mississippi. And I got the offer from Coach Buford, and I took it. And I'm very glad for all the opportunities he's given me.
Where are you from originally, and where are you now?
I'm still in Massachusetts. So yeah, I'm not anywhere near Mississippi, but definitely just lots of virtual training and stuff like that.
Great. I mean, virtual training is nothing new because there was always Skype lessons way before COVID happened, but it just has become a little bit normalized and people are a little bit more tech savvy now and things like that. Who are your coaches? Is it Team Excel's owner?
So for traditional forms, I train with Sensei Joey Castro now, and very grateful for all he's done for me, especially on the mental aspect. He's definitely really helped me with the mental aspect of the sport, and I'm very grateful for that. And as for Go's weapons, I am using some of the Team Excel staff, and they've helped me kind of tweak my bow form for this weekend. Actually, this past weekend, I kind of changed some things, and I was a little nervous doing it, but it ended up working out really well.
Great. How did you get into martial arts to begin with?
I was at a block party when I was like 6 years old, and there was a taekwondo studio there with like the little boards to break, and I broke one, and I was like, oh mom, like I kind of want to try this. And I ended up going there, and I hated it so much.
That's so
And then
funny.
my mom,
I was waiting for the, oh my God, I fell in love with it.
yeah, no, I hated it. And my mom really saw something in it, but she knew that specific dojo wasn't for me. So she did a research, and then she found my dojo, and I went there, and I ended up loving it, and I've stuck with it ever since.
Finding a karate school is a hit or miss sometimes. It doesn't necessarily mean that karate school is bad, but it's just what you need as a kid, as a learner. I remember when I was 4, so I was 4 when I wanted to go into martial arts. But my parents said I had to be 5, and they also, like your mom did, looked around, did research. It's like finding a regular school. How involved is your family in martial arts, and in your journey?
I don't think any of my family has done martial arts actually. I think my cousin did it for like a couple years, but nothing really super involved with them. But my parents are definitely very involved in my journey. And specifically, one of my moms is now retired, so she travels everywhere with me. And I'm so grateful for that. And she definitely likes to watch a lot, and she tries to just soak up everything that my coaches say so that she can kind of try to give me some tips when they're not there, and maybe she picked up on something that they didn't or I didn't. So it's definitely they're definitely heavily involved, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's great. Okay. All right. So now compete internationals. We talked about how you did, but were you able to get a little bit of a glimpse of how the tournament was itself? From my recollection, I remember if you got to see where there was a bunch of the underbelt competition, that is ginormous for compete internationals. Tell me more about what you saw.
I definitely saw a lot of local competitors, which is really nice, and it was definitely a diverse kind of pool of competitors there, and it was just really refreshing to, like, not see the same people over and over again, and most people see locals and they're like, "Oh, like, they're just a local, like, they're probably not that good," but honestly, there was a lot of very good locals there that I've never seen, but specifically in my forms division, the girl that did Kempo, I believe her name was Caitlin as well, she was very, very good, and I think it was her first tournament as well, and she was just very, very good for, like, a local competitor and just a competitor in general, she was very good.
I remember Team Freestyle has a lot of people out there. Uh,
Mhm,
the thing is about being on the West Coast, it's so geographically far that, of course, there are going to be,
mhm,
new faces. And sometimes I think people on the East Coast don't make the trek sometimes to the
mhm.
West Coast and vice versa. So, do you think that some of the people that you've never seen before might have given you a run for your money in
Oh,
weapons?
I definitely think so, yeah. Caitlin actually ended up beating me in Kempo, so it was really awesome to just see, like, people that I've never seen before, and it was just really nice to kinda get a taste of some people from California on the West Coast, and I definitely think it's harder for them to go all the way across the country because I
Mhm.
know it was definitely really hard for us to go across the country. We missed our connection flight, and I don't even know how we got to California on time, but it was definitely really hard.
This is in Ontario, California. Did you get to do any sightseeing? Of course, it's beautiful in the area, but did you go maybe to LA or anywhere else?
I didn't this year, but last year was my first compete internationals, and we flew into LAX and we went to Hollywood and downtown LA, and it was really cool to see, definitely.
All right, cool. Well, this was your first win in the adult division, right? I mean, you were on stage before, but your
Mhm.
first win. How's it feel to take home some money for your efforts?
It was definitely really shocking, like, I know I was gonna win money, like, going into it, I was like, "Okay, if I win, I get money," but it wasn't my first thought, and then I, like, got off stage, I got my picture taken, and I went over to my mom, and she was like, "We need to go get your money," and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, like, I forgot I win money now." So it was definitely really a good moment, and it's already in the bank for college.
Amazing, good. You get to, I mean, obviously it's an expensive sport, but it's nice to be reimbursed a little bit for it. You
Yes.
got some supporters in the comments here. I'll share them before we wrap up. Samantha's saying hi.
Excellent.
So is Sue Diaz right here in the comments.
Right.
So, okay, great. Compete Internationals, the second, I believe, NASCAR tournament of the year. Where are you off to next?
For NASCAR World event, my next one will be Ocean State Nationals. I'm not able to make the one in Texas due to a local tournament being that day and my banquet for the local tournament being that same exact day. I really wanted to go to Texas, but I have to support the local tournaments and pick up my awards at the banquet, so I'm very excited for that.
All right, so two exciting things coming up here soon. Katie, it was so nice to have you on the Power Chat series. Congratulations on your weapons debut in the adult division. I know there are going to be big things to come for you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Everybody else, thanks for tuning into the Power Chat series. Tomorrow we have another post show, so come back for tomorrow night. Everybody have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.